Fit for Life Radio, episode number 164. Gary here.
Will here.
And today we're talking efficient meal prep. Prepping your proteins.
Talking protein today, baby.
Your veggies. Ultimately, as we know, when it comes to improving your nutrition, your eating, there's a bunch of factors to take into account. We need to eat an appropriate amount. So you could not change anything you're eating and eat your portions better, and it can be helpful. But ultimately, if we're still kind of eating a lot of processed foods, we don't get to eat as much food, and we don't get as much nutrients from them. So over the short term, it can work. Over the long term, we start to have deficiencies, leads to cravings, things like that. So eventually you need more nutrient-dense food in proper portions. And that means
you got to cook them.
You got to cook them.
You know?
I would almost say no one long-term that kind of gets the lifestyle habits down that doesn't cook their own food. You know? Essentially, like if you try to rely on eating out all the time in restaurants, it's almost impossible.
Yeah, it's a really hard thing to balance and just to control, right?
But,
like you're fighting against the current on that one.
Yeah, because again, restaurants are in business to make tasty flavor.
They want it to taste good. And here's the real deal. Like restaurants list how many calories are in things, but they don't really care how many calories are actually in it. They just want it to taste good. So chances are that's low ball anyways, and that's hard.
Yeah,
it's hard when you don't have all of that control like you would at home.
Yep. So, and then even extended beyond that's the cost.
Yeah.
Efficiency, right? It's just going to be...
But eating out is expensive.
Yeah. Cheap. It's going to be cheaper, you know? Eating out's going to be, I don't know, $6 to $20 a meal, you know?
Can you get anything for $6 these days?
I don't know. Is that what a combo is at fast food?
I think combos are like $10 now.
Damn.
I think they've really gone up.
I didn't really eat those in the last 10 years. So
I think that's about where they're at.
When I used to get them, you know, when you're like 16, 17, 18.
Well, that's when they were like $4 to $6 for like a, Whopper combo.
That inflation, daddy.
Yeah. So now they're expensive. And then really, I would say probably $10 to $15.
Yeah.
For a combo.
And
stuff.
People will complain about the cost of like food now at the grocery store, but it scales with when you are buying food out to eat, restaurants, like someone's preparing it, someone's doing it, so it's going to always cost more. And if the food cost is up, it means their food cost is up. It's going to get passed on to you. So cooking your own meals will always be cheaper. We can complain like eggs cost more than they did 3 months ago, but it's still cheaper than getting eggs made at a restaurant.
Exactly.
So, but the problem is, it's obvious. Hey, if we prepare our own food, we're in control of everything. It's cheaper. All pros, right? Well, there are cons, which means it takes time.
Yeah, like it is time out of your day versus stopping somewhere on the way to work or whatever that may be.
It takes time, takes effort. You have to make the list. You have to get the food.
Yeah, there's planning involved in it. You're not just winging that.
And therefore, when we allocate time to something we typically have to deprioritize something else, right? It's just a whole runaround.
There's more to it than just like, just do this.
A lot of people quote, I don't have the time, right? So, you have to make it, right? We have the time. It's just what do we prioritize? So then when people do get into meal prepping and all this, and we've all been there, so it's not saying like you're wrong. It's really part of the process. We want to have all these. Let's make every meal. Let's try to blow ourselves away, right? And have all these fancy recipes.
Yeah, so you start looking up all of these recipes online. I want to try this because this looks good and it sounds good. And like it's a lot of work. It's a lot of time. It's a lot of money because a lot of those are like there's like 15 ingredients.
Yeah.
You know, and like, do you need that?
And if you enjoy it, go for it. Maybe a couple meals a week. But the real reality is you want to have principles and kind of base efficient things that you fall back on that are easy and quick, because that's going to be the most sustainable.
Yeah.
So we're going to share with you kind of a template today of what that could look like, right?
Yeah, and how to just make it simple.
Yeah, and overcome most people's objections, which is time and effort. So the most challenging thing for most people and the hardest thing to get out is like when we're out to eat is like lean protein sources. You know, normally when we start adjusting our eating, working out, most people are very low and can benefit from increasing their protein. So that's a key food that you have to prep, because while KFC chicken is protein, it is also fried, battered, floured, and therefore comes with a lot of extra calories. So here's a template we like: efficient meal prep. So we'll say this under the context of portion. The portions can change. That's the other thing too. It's not really going to make a difference. So whether you're prepping for yourself or for
a whole
family, just change the portions. But this is what we would do, right? Or this is what you want to create. So again, you don't have to do it exactly like this. This is to give you idea and framework, so that you can see that you want to create an efficient process. You want to not rely on individual, like a whole bunch of different fancy recipes. You want to have to make a trade-off for easy and efficient. So we would start. Obviously, you can do the timing anyways. This will just be most people. This would make the most sense. So weekend, do your grocery shopping like Saturday, and then Sunday. So we like to use different methods so you can have some variety, right? Stop trying to create unlimited variety. It doesn't exist. Like stuff's eventually going to be the same. But we would start with Saturday night, take the crock pot, throw 3 or 4 pounds of meat. So it could be chicken thigh, and this is where you can rotate, right? If you keep this process the same, it's going to be effortless. So you have your crock pot, throw some meat in there. Could be chicken thighs, could be pork tenderloin,
could be chicken breast,
could be like a lean roast.
Yeah, some beef. That's about it.
Yeah.
As far as like leaner protein sources go.
Yep. So probably something we're missing, but then again, that's 4 options.
Yeah, that's
right
4
there.
options.
Like you could rotate. You only having one. Something different every week.
Yeah.
Now and then throw that in the crock pot. You could season it up, broth it up.
Sauce it up,
onion and garlic it up.
Always garlic, though. Always.
Or just water it up.
Ew, man. No.
Oh, then hit that low button. Boom.
And just go.
Go
to bed.
Then when you wake up, all right, it's gonna be done. And then you have a few options. You can, depending on what it was, maybe take it out. But a simple one, shred it up, right? And then now you kind of have like barbecued or whatever. But yeah, you have that going in the morning. So then in the morning you could get up, boil some eggs.
And you can boil like a good chunk of eggs at a time too.
Yeah, I mean, how big's your pot?
You got a good pot. You could do a whole week of doing like 2 or 3 eggs a day.
Yeah, easily 2 dozen.
Yeah.
So you could throw 2 dozen eggs in, obviously a big pot, or a dozen eggs, whatever, and get them puppies boiling. So 15, 20 minutes. While they're boiling, you can then take a pan, take a couple pounds, normally I've always been able to fit 2 pounds in, a big pan of, you could do lean ground beef, 93.7 lean ground beef, 93.7 lean ground turkey. There's even ground chicken, I know.
We actually do a lot of ground chicken.
Yeah. And brown it up, spice it up.
Boom.
Grill.
2 pounds takes 10 minutes to cook? On the stove.
Yeah, and not depending on your type of pan and stuff.
Yeah.
Max. So then while you got that going, you can finish browning up that meat. Eggs are probably still going. So while the eggs are still going, 10 minutes, you browned up that meat. You can throw that in the container you're going to store it in, right? Then you can shred up whatever was in that crock pot, right? Put that in a container. So you see how you're building components to your meals. This is why when you try to meal prep or make all these individual recipes, you have to like take all the time for that individual recipe and its process versus just building these components. And another one from when you went grocery shopping on Saturday, hopefully you have some Greek yogurt on hand. So some non-fat, plain Greek yogurt. Boom. Got the ground meat, the crock-potted meat. Got that prepared in their containers, and your Greek yogurt. Eggs are finished, so you can take those out, throw them in the ice bath, whatever. Got those. You can store those in their shells, down in the fridge. Boom, right there you have 4 protein options ready to go.
For your whole week.
For your whole week. And then you can use them as components for meals, right? So say for lunch, you want to have salad. You can take, or obviously then have some greens, spinach, whatever, and then you just have to you have your options of protein sources.
Whatever you want.
You can pair up that salad, some vinegar, lemon, lime juice, whatever, or a little bit of measured dressing. Boom, there's a salad. Or you can pair it with some veggies, right? So we would recommend keeping the frozen. You can have like
steamer bags, man.
Steamer bags. Throw those in. You could, depending on your goals, maybe you have like starch with every meal. So rice, potatoes. Again, obviously, while you are cooking that day, you could also throw some rice in the rice cooker, boil some potatoes.
Yeah, I mean microwave potatoes too, like a quote unquote baked potato. You can steam it in the microwave, and it takes like 5 minutes.
That's what I do every day.
Yeah, so that's a very easy one. And then again, then you just maybe dress it up however you want with seasonings, or if you do like some hot sauce or something like that, you can do that. But yeah, an easy starch it's simple.
Yeah, those yellow potatoes, the
Yukon Gold, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, those cook up in the microwave real nice.
Yeah, they're like a little more wet. They're softer.
They're like in between a sweet potato and a russet potato.
Yeah,
texture wise, and for whatever reason they just take to the microwave well. And so right there you see you have all your components, and you can even kind of have your shredded up meat, so you can have some buns.
Yeah,
boom, you can have a little barbecue sandwich with some veggies right there.
Easy.
One bun's like 20 grams of carbs.
Yeah, it's not bad. One bun's like what, 80 calories, depending on what it is. So it's not bad.
Yeah, you got plenty of options. And then the key is, so we mentioned how, you can rotate through your protein options, right? So it can be a little difference. The other thing is then your spices and your sauces. Those are other ways.
That's where the variety happens, because you can cook things up in completely different ways.
Yeah. I mean, you could let's take the, chicken thighs, right? And you shred them up. Well, you could have thrown them in with some sauerkraut and made like more of a German style dish, or spice, you
could do barbecue sauce, so it's a pulled barbecue chicken.
You could do like Mexican spices and seasonings,
or buffalo seasoning. I mean, there's just so many ways you can go with it. I mean, really insert any sauce that you like can be kind of added to or spices that you enjoy.
And then you could do again tacos. You could do barbecue sandwich. You could just throw it on salad, throw it on rice.
Yeah.
You have plenty of options, and it just makes things way easier. And you'll fall into a routine, and it will be plenty, right? One thing we notice is 10 out of 10. When people aren't thinking about eating better, healthy, portioning, whatever, there's quote unquote no restrictions, people still eat the same 5 to 7 things.
Even if we're talking about, hey, you go out to eat every day for lunch, well, you probably get the same stuff most days. And you go to Chick-fil-A and you get your nuggets and your fries and your drink. That's not variety at all. So I think when people say they want variety, I don't think they mean they want 40 different meals, but in their head they do.
No, I know what they want.
Yeah. They want freaking chicken nuggets.
Exactly. So then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I'm going to eat better. And it's like everyone's then chasing all these, like, I have to find these recipes. I need something different. I get bored. Well, before this, people ate pizza.
Yeah.
You know, to rotate between these same five things.
Chinese food every day, and you never complain.
And you never get bored, right? The real reality is, like, you don't want to eat chicken and rice or just chicken and bun and veggies.
I think what people can't convey because they don't really know is that they just want the thing that feels better in the brain, which is, like, more, you know, high calorie dense food.
And when you just accept that, like, that's not my lifestyle, eating those foods all the time with no parameters got me to this point where I do not want to be, and you just accept that it's a different set of habits, and hey, I'm going to eat a different set of 5 to 7 meals, you'll move forward, and then you'll appreciate and love those meals for, honestly, taste-wise and for what they provide for you. You know? But you have to get out of your head that you need... Oh, that you get bored.
Yeah.
You know, like a, shredded pork tenderloin, little barbecue sandwich is probably never going to be a cheese pizza.
Nah. But you got to be okay with that.
You know? So once you accept that fact, you move forward.
Yeah.
Right?
And honestly, when you do start to eat, you know, like more whole foods and not as much fast food, like your taste does change. And I know that you hear people say that, but it is true. And you start to appreciate more and more like those foods that you really do like.
And here's the thing. Why think about it? If right now we know, hey, what's kind of like a common like health meal that's easy? It's like chicken and rice and veggies, right? Steamed, no oils. Okay. Yeah, that's the meal, like that's the most common meal that everyone makes, right? And that lives the lifestyle and is meal prepping. Right now, Will, if I was like, hey, go out and get that meal, why is that meal, literally, you would not find it prepared in that way in any restaurant in the city?
No.
Why is that? Because it's not the most tasty meal.
Yeah, exactly.
And like they're in business to make the most flavorful. Guess what? Calories are flavor. So there you go. That's why.
No one's cooking chicken breast with steamed broccoli.
Yeah, so you got to do it yourself, and but you'll learn to appreciate it again. And nowadays, you know, because of food processing in a way, there is like sauces that are calorie free and flavor, and there's ways to juju it up.
Like you can use that stuff to your advantage.
Yeah,
like there's a lot of really good sauces. I know a lot of people like the G. Hughes line of like barbecue sauces and things like that are like sugar free and. There's a lot of things like that can still help you out while still giving your food plenty of flavor. And that's what we do. Like most of our meals are very similar. Like we do a lot of ground meat and you just change the sauce or the seasoning and it's a completely new meal. And you maybe pair it with something a little bit different, right? Pair it with some white rice instead of a potato, or there's some things where we put on like a lower calorie wrap.
Yeah.
You know, like, and that completely changes the meal, but it's more just taking this base level protein and then just pairing it with something a little bit different to give us that completely new meal vibe.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we have right now, my wife and I have been on a kick where, like, for dinner, it would be, like, ground turkey. And so she gets home from work, so it's, like, turkey and potato, right? But, and again, we're weird. Like, we kind of eat the same thing every night. You could easily have a couple base meals during the day and make your dinner different every night. But just to show, even within that same base, more so I'm boring, but she'll kind of like change it almost each night, even though it's still turkey and potato. But then you have that base, and sometimes she'll put a little bit of cheese, right, on the potato, and then her turkey, sometimes she has like olives and like other kind of the veggies she uses will almost dictate the theme. And
you season it a different way.
Season up a different way with different spices that are maybe more Italian, right? And then another night it might be more Mexican or... Yeah, really just rotating through the veggies and spices. And yeah, I mean, you just have to like create some parameters and guardrails and then play with the variety within that, right?
Yeah.
And again, we wanted to fall back to like what's more sustainable and trying to, you know, when I see these things and programs where it's like it's like a whole week calendar, and then every meal
everything's different.
Is like a different meal and different recipe.
That's asking a lot of people's time.
There ain't no way.
Yeah.
There ain't no way. And again, think back. When you have zero restriction, you eat normal. No one even eats like that.
Nah. Nobody eats a literal different thing for every single meal every day of the week. It just doesn't happen.
How do you even logistically grocery shop for that?
You got, I mean, I don't know. You got a high grocery bill, and then those are the people that are like, man, creating your own meals is too expensive.
Yeah.
Well, if you're buying 90 ingredients a week, yeah, it's going to be expensive.
Yep.
You know, and something that, you know, like Whitney and I like to try, you know, new recipes time to time. A lot of times it's like a Saturday night thing. We'll make something new that we find online. Yeah. Well, what we do with that, like we'll have it. I'll give a good example. We had this like hot honey chicken and broccoli, right? Real simple ground chicken, broccoli, rice. And then there's like a hot honey sauce that you make on the stove. Well, we had that, and I was like, you know what? Like, because making a sauce and all of that, it's just complex, man. Like, I don't want to have to get a whole nother pot out. So I got like a Kung Pao sauce from the store. Pretty good on calories. Actually, probably better than the sauce we made. So now I'll brown up some ground chicken. I'll already, like, before that, I got broccoli going in the oven to get it brown. And then I'll combine them, add the sauce, boom, done. Easy during the week meal for us. And you can even prep that really easily ahead of time. That I derived from doing this recipe that was good, but I knew it would be just not the most, like, the best use of my time.
Yeah.
So you can simplify like that and pare it down to making it a lot more simple and, like, workable for you.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to be complex if you find something on the internet like that.
So it's having, like, templates and these ways to help streamline your process, you know? And then that way, hey, like we talked about, this doesn't have to be your exact process. It's just one I laid out, but yeah, then you get in the routine of like, hey, I got this, then I'm throwing in the crock pot Saturday, boom, get up, Sunday, eggs, ground up some meat, throw it all together, bang. There's all our protein for, say, lunch and dinner.
For the week, baby.
Right? And then the Greek yogurt, and, well, you could, boom, there.
Yeah, Greek yogurt putting it together is like 3 minutes tops.
Greek yogurt, there you go. Greek yogurt and eggs for breakfast, and then you got your meats for lunch and dinner, and then you can pair them with different veggies and starches to change things around and then spice it up however you want, you know. And the other thing is, it's easier to portion all this stuff.
Yeah.
You know, when you make a lot of casseroles, and
it's hard to get your ingredients and the calories and like what is a portion correct.
Yeah.
So when you can piece them together, you know exactly how much meat I'm adding, how much starch I'm having, and it's a lot easier to be aware.
Yeah. And then the next, you know, the devil's advocate with that's going to be like, well, I'll get bored. And it's like, well, food shouldn't always be entertainment.
Nah. And that it's just coming to terms with, like, there is a time for entertainment, right? Like, go out to eat. Like, we all went out to eat and got sushi, and, like, that's great. And I'm not going to try and track that, and I love eating sushi out. But not every meal is going to be like that. Yeah. And that's cool.
And the other devil's advocate is like, well, I want to enjoy my meals. Well, now you don't actually realize the fortune and privilege that you're living in.
Yeah. Of like, oh, I have all of this food available, but like I just don't enjoy this Whole Foods meal.
Oh, you have meat and plenty of calories and these things that people would kill for.
Yeah, like,
and all at your fingertips, and you don't. Oh, I'm bored.
Yeah.
Well, like, you need to, like,
reevaluate.
Hashtag gratitude, right?
Yeah.
Because the real reality is, if that was all you had and you knew it mentally, then you'd be in a different headspace.
You're just fortunate, like, damn, I'm glad I get to eat. And, like, dude, that's good to you.
Like, how fortunate are we that we can, what's it called with the little app where it delivers you the food?
DoorDash?
We can DoorDash Mexican food, Indian food.
Anything.
You know,
anything our heart desires.
South African food, you know, like, and it will show up and be cooked by professionals and at all time. And then we could have, like, potato chip. A potato chip's awesome. Well, guess what? There's 16 different brands, and within each of those brands there's
like 30 flavors.
30 flavors. And you know what? Tacos are amazing, but not only can you just have tacos, you can have taco flavored potato chips. Well, no wonder we get bored.
Yeah. You have endless possibilities, and like everybody wants more.
Yeah.
I need more flavors.
In the real reality,
I've moved on. This one's not good anymore.
Yeah. You'll always be bored unless you, like, don't give in and just say, hey, you know what? I'm actually gonna appreciate nutrition, appreciate food, and have some gratitude.
It is a mindset shift.
Yeah.
Like, because if you're always chasing that entertainment and that new, and this goes for, we know anything, like, you're never, ever going to be satisfied.
Yeah.
Ever.
And the other thing is, well, then is more of a sign, like, that you might need to buckle down and have a little restriction and you know, be in a calorie deficit. Because, look, I'll promise you this. When you're dieting and losing weight, and as you get leaner,
food tastes good.
You'd be amazed at how a boiled chicken breast,
you're like, damn,
like with some Mrs. Dash,
this is it, baby,
lemon pepper, would taste.
Yeah,
you know.
If you know me, you know I'm always on the run, up early and home late. So having a 3-hour morning routine isn't really in the cards for me. What is in the cards is AG1. It's a fast way to get vitamins and minerals I need to perform. I first gave AG1 a try because I wanted a single solution that helps support my entire body by filling in nutrient gaps and simplifying my morning routine. Since drinking AG1 daily, I've always felt strong and energized and ready to attack the day. Not only does AG1 deliver my daily dose of vitamins, minerals, pre- and probiotics, and more, it's a powerful, healthy habit that's also powerfully simple. It's 1 scoop mixed in water once a day and every day. I know that AG1 is giving my body high-quality nutrition. Every batch of AG1 goes through a rigorous testing process, so you know that it's safe. And AG1 ingredients are sourced for absorption, potency, and nutrition density. AG1 is a supplement that I trust to provide the support my body needs daily, and that's why I'm excited to welcome them as a new partner. Here is your chance to start every day this season with a gift to yourself. Try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3K2 and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase exclusively at drinkag1.com/provengrit. That's drinkag1.com/provengrit. Check it out.
So
yeah, but when you have an abundance and, you know, we're eating in a calorie surplus, you're kind of used to that really highly palatable, super delicious food. So you're always like, I need more than that. It's not hitting the spot. Yeah. But when you're in that deficit, do a bowl of blueberries. Whoo, boy.
I know.
It hits.
You'll start talking about the notes of flavor.
Yeah, right? Or you're like, damn, I had this glass of water last night. It was crisp. You know?
Oh man!
And like that sounds insane unless you've had. I mean, maybe we're just weird, but like, hey, sometimes water just hits. It's different types of water though.
If you don't know, this is what you go get distilled water, right? Because it has nothing in it. It's like boiled out or whatever.
Yep.
But you know, water's supposed to have like. Look, here's what you do: get some distilled water. Get some like Gerolsteiner. So natural spring mineral water, and then get some tap water, and drink all 3, and you'll notice like the distilled water tastes like is empty.
It's just water. It's just wet.
And then when you have like the Gerolsteiner, the spring water, it's like flavorful. Because there's like calcium and magnesium and minerals that have taste and flavor.
That are supposed to be in water.
And then the tap water will have like flavor, but it's also just like so different because then they also add a lot of stuff like fluoride and things like that.
Yeah, things to make it safe to drink.
And slightly funny, you know, when you're used to it, you don't notice it. But then when you have like spring water, you just notice these different flavor notes of water. You know what's funny now that we're talking about this? I think there was a documentary. I don't know where I saw it, but then I don't know if it's still popular. There was phases where like there was like these water bars, and it was in like Los Angeles.
That's the most LA thing I've ever heard in my life. A friggin' water bar,
and you had like flights,
like
different waters.
I talk about like privilege. Like you're going to drink all these different types of water, especially in a state that has drought. Like,
but anyways, come on, man. If we can get to that point with water, then
I'm telling you,
trust me, when you have you're plain food, you're hungry enough, it all tastes good. So that's a real reality, right? Most of the time, we don't have a drive to eat. That's really our true appetite talking. You're bored. You don't want this food. You're not that hungry.
Yeah.
But then what can drive our appetite? Well, all of a sudden, we get all these heightened flavor senses, combination of things. It makes our brain ping beyond our true appetite. we're like, oh, this is delicious. I can eat this, right? But only if it's this like super delicious thing,
extra experience, so to speak.
So yeah, that's a theory of mine too. It's like when you end up in that spot, like that's our body's way of helping us drive appetite because food's available, it doesn't want to waste it. So, but we need like these heightened flavors and enjoyment to keep eating.
Yep.
Whereas then when we're like we said, dieting, or you get really lean, you get to a really low body fat, everything tastes amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, that chicken breast, you're like, I'm going for it.
And you can't explain it, but yeah, like when you get, I've done it like twice before where I got really, really lean. I'm telling you, like, yeah, the plain unsalted food will taste just as amazing as like your favorite meal that you would describe right now if you were like to talk about your death row meal.
Yeah.
It's all relative.
It is relative, right? And this is a kind of a different thing, but kind of on the same topic. Dude, we went, when I was younger, me and two of my buddies went hiking. We camped on top of a mountain and didn't pay attention to the forecast. It like was the coldest thunderstorm of my life. We're literally top of the mountain. There's lightning. We can't go down. We can't see. So we like 3 dudes in a 2-man tent huddled up together trying to stay warm, and we froze that night. No one was dressed for it. The tent leaked. So we were like freezing. Nothing we could do to leave, and we just like, we got to make it through this. So then we hiked back, in the morning. I don't think any of us slept, but we were freezing. We were tired. We hadn't really eaten much because we couldn't do a fire because it was pouring down rain. And dude, we got back to town, and we just had like the most simple breakfast at IHOP, just eggs and bacon, and it was the best meal I've ever eaten in my life because all we did was suffer. We were cold, we were hungry, and it just, to this day, I think it's my top 5 meals I've ever eaten. So just talking about how relative things are, when you're hungry and you're cold, just a hot meal, you're like, damn, this is what I needed, So yeah, it is relative to your situation and your circumstance. And if you're, say somebody who doesn't have, money or the availability of food, whatever they get, they're thankful and it's delicious.
Yeah.
So, maybe just kind of reevaluate your brain a little bit.
Mm-hmm. And then, yeah, again, to wrap it up, and we'll even give you a little time just to help you conceptualize here. Make your meal prep efficient. Don't fall in love with like tons of individual recipes. Have a template. Have principles and a good framework that we like that takes 30 minutes a week.
That's it, Daddy.
Again, you're plopping 2-3 pounds of meat, 3-4 pounds of meat in the crock pot on Saturday night.
Pop it on low.
That takes like 2 minutes.
Yep. With
spices. Pop it on low. You can get up in the morning. Get some eggs going, some eggs boiling. Get some ground meat going, a couple pounds of ground meat in the pan, spiced up. That takes 10 minutes. Eggs are still going. Dish out the ground meat into a container. Take out the crock pot meat, shred it up, whatever. Put it in a container. Now the eggs are done. Take those out, put those in containers. Make sure you have Greek yogurt on hand. Boom, you got your Greek yogurt, your eggs, 5 to 6 pounds of meat ready to go. Boom, that's 30 minutes tops. A couple minutes on the Saturday night to get the crock pot going, the 20 minutes to do the other stuff, and then some buffer.
Yeah,
right?
It doesn't take that much time.
30 minutes a week, you got all that done, right? And then you could even, same time you have, you can expand on that easily. When you have the eggs boiling, you could have another pot with potatoes boiling, right? Then you got some starch already prepped. But the real reality is veggies, fruit, starch, you can easily go. So fruit, obviously, it's always convenient.
Yep. Especially I like frozen fruit.
Frozen, or then you have like apples and stuff that are naturally packaged. Bananas. You just grab them. Then veggies, get the frozen steamable bags. You can throw them in, bing, bang, boom.
Those are maybe my favorite thing. And like because they're like flash frozen, like the nutrition is like, they're like maybe the freshest you can get. Because most stuff in the store, I mean, it's been on a truck. It's been a few weeks since it's been picked or whatever it may be. So, I mean, frozen stuff is probably your best option.
Yep.
And it's super quick.
Yeah, then you have canned as well. And
damn can. You're not going to sell people on the cans, man. Your canned potatoes?
Some canned green beans?
Nah.
Hey,
I will say, like a canned French-style green bean reminds me of my childhood, so I would eat those.
I'll take the cut.
I'll take those.
In the cut, give me them ghetto green beans.
I mean, whatever.
I don't need them French style.
Nah, French style,
You've
bro.
been watching Emily in Paris?
Nah, I've never seen it. We need to watch it.
There was one more thing I was gonna say. Oh, and then like rice as well. They got like the steamable packs, or even like the. But honestly, if you've got a rice cooker, it's way easier.
I mean, yeah, rice cooker, just put it in and set it and forget it. That's a good investment.
And then also, the meats compare well with like these like low carb wraps and just regular buns and taco shells and taco wraps. All that stuff is great little easily pre-port. That's a great thing. Like people give like bread and stuff a bad rap, but it's pre-portioned.
Yeah, like a slice, 2 slices, you know exactly how much you're getting.
Yeah.
It's not a bad deal.
And it gives you options, right? Like say you're going to have this shredded pork tenderloin, you crock pot it. Well, on Monday you can have it in a little taco shell. On Tuesday you can have it in a burrito wrap. On Wednesday you can have it on a Hawaiian roll. And each of those days you can spice it up differently.
Yeah,
so
a little bit maybe of a little different sauce or combination of food. Like then it's different meals.
Yeah, there you go.
And you didn't eat the exact same thing 3 days in a row, but you did.
A little pork sandwich with the apple for lunch.
Boom. I mean, you can't.
You know what I'm saying?
You're good.
So there you go.
So what we hope you take away from this is that you can take a lot of basic things and still make it so it's not the exact same thing, but also prepare yourself for the whole week. And try things, like a little bit of seasoning. You just got to kind of try with seasonings and sauces, but buy something that looks good at the store and see how it goes with what you're cooking.
Yeah. Dude, last Saturday, we were like, let's make some chili. And, dude, chili's so easy.
You just put a bunch of crap in a crock pot.
But ultimately I learned, too, I probably could have used a little more chili powder, you know? But, yeah, we didn't even do it in the crock pot because we only had like an hour.
Oh, yeah, you just boiled the pot.
Yeah, so took the pot, browned, threw some spray in there, then browned up some ground turkey and then in an onion. Then poured in a can of crushed tomatoes, a can of kidney beans, and then the spice chili powder, and then stirred it up, got it boiling, and let it simmer for like 30 minutes. Bang, it was awesome. Then the reality is we could have doubled, tripled, and then had leftovers.
Yeah, and that'll last you. I like a good hearty, chili.
Yeah,
good amount of meat.
That bean to meat ratio.
Okay, let me ask you this. There's some people that do chili, and they put it on spaghetti. How does that make you feel?
I mean, I'd be fine with it.
Would you?
Just because I mean,
that sounds like some weird shit you would have eaten as a kid.
I mean, you're just trying to get some protein carbs, or that's what you got on hand. It's like a bolognese, right? Is that how you say it?
It's like a really awful bolognese.
I mean, to me, chili's just like a fancy ground meat version.
I mean, that's true, but in my mind, traditionally, chili is like meat, beans, and like onions and things like that.
Yeah. So why can't you put that? I mean, what is?
It's just weird to put on. It's just weird to put on spaghetti, man.
What is a meat sauce that you put on spaghetti?
I mean, it is, but then the seasoning's just way different.
It's meat. It's tomato.
That's true. Have you ever had Cincinnati chili?
Yeah, that's the one that looks like
Skyline Drive.
Is that like where it's like real ground up? It's like when you put on a chili dog.
Yeah, it's like really ground up.
Yeah,
disgusting.
I don't like that.
Yeah, it's it's gross. Thank you. It's the worst idea ever.
I don't like that because it's so ground up it doesn't even feel like meat.
Right, exactly. Yes, thank you.
It's like a condiment.
Like most ideas that come out of Ohio, it's just not good.
Actually, when I went up to the Nationals game, I got a chili dog. I don't know why, because I was like, it's a baseball game, and they had all these other cooler hot dog variations. But I was like, I'm gonna be traditional, and then that's how like the meat sauce was.
Nah, I don't like it.
No,
it almost is like this mealy, like grainy texture.
So chili to me is not like that. It's way.
That's what I'm getting after. Like that's not chili. It's like a weird, awful, thin meat sauce.
Is that chili? No,
they call it chili.
It's not. A chili has to have beans.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But they call it chili. That's my gripe. Is that in like it's a Ohio, especially Cincinnati thing. They make their chili like that, and they're wrong.
Yeah.
So if anybody here's from Ohio, we could take it to the streets, but it's the worst chili in the world.
Nah, it's bad. It's not chili, so it can't even be bad chili.
Right.
And it's like
we're gonna be scrapping. We're gonna have people from Cincinnati showing up here.
Nah.
Dude, they're all about it. It's the best thing in the world to them, and I don't get it.
Nah.
And then they put it on spaghetti, which is just makes it worse. All right.
Nah.
So that's my gripe.
I'd rather have chili on spaghetti.
I'd rather have I'd rather have plain spaghetti.
I'd rather have meatballs.
Ooh.
Or like
I got meatballs. We had meatballs last night.
Yeah. But I'll eat pasta with like weird, like sometimes just like I'll just take cut up chicken and put it on pasta and eat it plain.
Just with nothing?
Yeah.
What's wrong with you, man?
You know what I'm saying? Like
I would rather have something that's like different than
like
pasta.
There's no sauce. I'll eat it like that.
I feel like you're purposely making your meal bad because there's so much you could do.
But you have to understand.
That's just really easy.
Yeah, but I come from like a weird, like picky eater when I was a kid.
I mean, I was a picky eater.
To where I ate everything plain, but I would eat plain pasta. So it's like.
So did you add like butter to it? Or is it
I would eat mac and cheese with like and you make it with like a stick of butter.
Oh no, I meant just pasta with butter.
Oh nah.
You never ate noodles and butter?
Nah.
That's delicious.
That sounds incomplete.
On your meal doesn't sound incomplete with just chicken and plain pasta.
It's a meat and it's a starch
that needs lubricant.
Nah.
Yeah.
I don't need the lube.
Oh God.
A raw dog it.
No. Like you're missing such a crucial component. It would be like if someone just didn't add any salt to any of their meals. Like it's so simple. There's no drawback, and it makes it taste better. Why not add it? And it's crucial to being alive as a human. I don't know. Does that make sense to me? It's not like you're adding a General Tso's sauce to this, which is like, an extra 300 calories. It's just, let me throw a little salt on there.
You ever think about the meals you made when you were like in high school?
Mm-hmm.
Before you obviously we even thought about what, healthy eating and your cooking skills are what, you're a teenager.
Mm-hmm. What did you
and you ever think then, hey, you made the same stuff all the time?
Yeah.
Like, I would make every day. So for breakfast, I would actually have my mom would boil me eggs. And again, remember I was an extremely picky eater.
I had a fried egg sandwich.
So I don't have boiled eggs and a honey bun for breakfast.
Damn, bro.
And then glass of milk. And yeah, then lunch I would normally. So I had a peanut butter, no jelly, just peanut butter sandwich.
Wrong with you, man?
Peanut butter sandwich and banana.
Which is peanut butter banana is good. I won't talk too much trash about that.
And then
wait, you did a peanut butter sandwich with a banana on the side?
Yeah.
Okay, that's just still fine, but it goes better on the sandwich.
And then from there, you kind of like, then you're just a kid and then you make stuff. So that's like what it was like. So then I would normally always like get home, and it always depends on sport. If it was like sports, you have practice right after school, then I would get like a bag of Skittles out of the vending machine and like a soda.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually I'd get home. Your parents are at work, and I would normally make. So basically, the things I would eat would be cheese. So I get like a block of cheese and just eat it with a knife. And
I don't understand that.
And like crackers.
I'm glad I'm not a cheese eater.
But I would also make. So remember Easy Mac?
Yeah.
And then you would, you can just make it with like just the noodles,
and the packet.
The little packet. But then I would add butter, and then.
I used to add a couple slices of like cheddar cheese to it.
Yeah.
That was good.
Easy Mac. And then I eventually got into ground beef.
Like it's a drug. You got into it.
And my dad would always make like those little chicken tenderloins
mm-hmm.
and grill them up in Italian. Like he would marinate them in Italian and grill them up.
We used to do that too.
So those would be always on hand. So
that Italian was good on those.
I would throw that in my Easy Mac. I would throw like ground beef in my Easy Mac.
Ew.
I mean, isn't that like Hamburger Helper basically?
Yeah, that Hamburger Helper is gross.
But yeah, basically that's what I would make would be like Easy Mac and then some combination of something in with it. And then I would make like those like chicken patties
mm-hmm.
in the little oven, that little teeny oven.
A little toaster oven.
Stuff like that.
I think I was lucky. I don't know if I was forced to cook, but like I had to cook
mm-hmm.
as a teenager. So like a lot of times I would marinate whatever we were having for dinner, and then I would cook it. And I remember like I went on this kick, dude. I ate London broil all the time. I don't know why, but I was cooking those things up like crazy and just crushing some beef, you know? So yeah, I had a little more practice cooking as a kid and like expanded my palate a little bit as well because of that.
Yeah.
But I was kind of picky. My brother was probably as picky as you are. Well, we're. I'm
thinking back too, I didn't have much of a sweet tooth.
Yeah.
Like I would always, it was like starch. I would eat so much, like a lot of bread and cheese.
Were you forced to try food as a kid?
Yeah, and then I eventually like gave up. Like we would go out to eat, and I remember we would go to like the pizza place, and I wouldn't eat pizza because I didn't like sauce, even though I never had it. And we would go to Burger King, and I would get like a plain burger, just the meat and the bun, and then we'd go to the sub place, or there was like a sub pizza place, and then they would eat, and I would have my like plain burger.
They're like, why is he suffering through this? It's such an interesting thing because I wonder if you were like encouraged to try more, like consistently. Would you have tried more? Like Whitney's the same. Whitney was not forced to eat anything, and I'm not saying they're shoving it down your throat, but for us, you had to at least try it.
Yeah, I mean, I did, and then I would like gag and stuff.
Yeah,
because you gotta remember, I have a twin brother, and he was the opposite.
Yeah, he ate everything.
So my parent, and back then you have no Google, so they're like, why does one do this and one don't? You know, it's like,
yeah.
And yeah, I don't know, but then it was all in my head because then when I got, so then I got into fitness, and then also like dating, and I was like, well,
you can't just eat Pop-Tarts or whatever.
But then so I learned. So then I remember the first thing I forced myself to eat, I guess you could say, was cottage cheese, because it was like, you're looking at this meal plan from this, and cottage cheese was in there, right? So I would put it on toast, and I could eat it on the on toast with cinnamon, and then eventually I got to where I could just eat the cottage cheese, and then I realized,
oh no!
But then I had a light bulb moment where I used to think I mentally could not eat this food, right? I would but now I like it. So I realized it was all in my head.
Yeah. And
then literally I basically entered a foodie phase where I realized I'll actually eat basically anything. And so fine, I like know zero. Now the funny thing is, and this is how you know it's somewhat like your brain wiring and probably like slightly autistic or something. Now knowing all this, overcoming that, I guess, you could say, like, I gravitate to plain simple, almost the same stuff. Like I notice I eat like plain starches and meats, and that's my preference. Like I'll go have a fancy meal. Even I told you we were getting sushi the other night, and I feel like I'll get the plain, just the fish and the rice pieces, and that's what I enjoy the most, with a little soy sauce. And then, but I'm like, well, I'm here, let me get some of the fancier rolls, and I will. And it's like, I just don't prefer it as much, you know, all the fancy stuff, and have a, like I said, I went to a foodie phase where it's like all this it's all about flavor, and it's like, it's different. I appreciate it. Actually, I'll say in the last like year or two, when we were in New York, we went to this Mexican place, and I got some I don't know, something, and it was.
I was hoping you're gonna mispronounce something.
And dude, it was good. It was good. Man.
Yeah,
but it was like a cheesy
flavor, bro.
It was like a cheesy dish, though.
Yeah.
I realized, you know what the secret ingredient is to making tasty food?
I mean, cheese.
Cheese,
bro. Cheese and butter.
Cheese and butter.
Those are the two things that honestly like make most meals better. It's the truth.
So yeah, and same thing at home now, right? If I'm like, I'll just spice it up with some cheese.
Spice it up with some cheese, man.
But it adds up quick. But now and again, like some of the low fat cheeses and stuff aren't that bad,
No.
Like, well, again, when you're used to eating super plain, anyways, like
any cheese is good.
Yeah, but yeah, so that's the old.
I like a good bit of flavor. Yeah. And not to overcomplicate it, like,
dude. I remember.
I'll eat most anything.
Then eventually, like, you get old enough, they're like, okay, he's like, I ate enough, right? Like, I ate milk and I ate enough to get everything and be healthy and grow and all that.
So like whatever.
But then I started dating this girl. First, like, serious girlfriend, in high school, and she was Portuguese, dude.
I had a similar experience, I think, to what you had. So
and like they would have that Goya. I mean, that's really what they use Goya seasoning on it, which now like is awesome, but like it's a spice blend. But to me, that was like, oh my goodness. And then they would have just some of the dishes,
You had like the whitest upbringing ever.
Yeah, and then I remember we went and her family, like from her Portuguese family, like that lived in Massachusetts,
Mm-hmm.
and we went and visited them. And it's like, I mean, that's all, and it was,
food, baby.
I was like hyping myself up, like you gotta, you gotta man up and eat whatever.
Yeah, you have to.
And I did, and then you realize, okay,
this wasn't that bad.
It wasn't that bad, and but yeah, that started to expand my.
That was mine, dude. I dated
my
my first girlfriend in high school. She was Italian, like grandparents straight off the boat, like spoke some English, but they were very Italian. And I remember going over there to eat with them, same kind of experience, and they had like pasta, and there was like it was like a seafood type pasta, right? So there were like little clams in it, little octopus, and like in my head I was like, well, they just served this to me, so like I have to eat this, And at that point, like I'm not crazy picky eater, but eating octopus when it's a whole little mini guy was like, oh shit, I don't know if I can. And I did it, and then I had the same moment where I was like, dude, if I can eat a little octopus, I can eat anything. And that moment, like my palate just expanded to now my rule after that was like, oh, I'll at least try anything, period, one time.
Yeah.
No matter what it is, I'll try it, and I might like it. Yeah. And if I don't like it, I don't have to eat it. But if I do, then, hey, we're good. So that's where I'm at now.
Yeah. And literally, there's no food I'd be worried about eating. On the planet, I would try everything.
Same.
But there is one food that I just would say no thanks to because I don't like it, and I still can create the weird block I had when I was a kid, like with this food. Like now when I go to eat it, I'll still reject it.
I'm gonna try and think about
what
I've
talked about it before.
I don't know.
Is like baked beans, man.
What? Did you have a really bad experience?
I just don't like it. Not because I never even really ate them when I was picky, but I had them.
Grew up on baked beans.
I had them as a grown, with an expanded palate, and I was like, I don't like these.
Oh, they're good, bro.
They're like sweet in the texture.
Depends on the baked beans, though. You get a little spice to them.
Nah, it's the texture. It's the there's just like, if
they're not like they're not like a top 10 food. They never will be.
At your house and your grandma made and gave me a plate and the baked beans were on there, I would not want to like leave stuff on the plate, so I would eat them. But if like I'm the one, she has like this buffet and we're walking through, and I'm
not getting the baked beans.
I'm not getting the baked beans.
You know what that food is for me, and it's actually kind of close in relation. Well, coleslaw.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I threw up after eating coleslaw. I can't eat it to this day. Like. There are a few things in this world that gross me out more than coleslaw does. And that might be why I hate mayonnaise as well. Like mayonnaise, Miracle Whip, disgusting. Don't want them.
Is there some coleslaw that's like vinegar based?
Yeah, which I'll eat that.
Yeah.
I'll eat like a vinegar based slaw, but like the creamy slaw, that might be the only food where it really sets me off. All over the wall.
Yeah.
Still remember it. Still remember the wood paneled wall and everything.
I'm trying to think another one which I tried to force ourselves to eat, and I can't eat beef liver, man.
I mean, it just has such a strong metallic flavor. Any liver does.
I tried everything. I was like, I can't do this.
All the people that eat it and say it's good, I literally don't believe you.
Because you see some of these carnivore people, and you see their face when they eat it on camera. They're like,
oh, it's so good. You're like, is it? It's not even touching your tongue right now.
Nah, man.
Nah, it ain't. Like, it's a very nutritious food, and I understand, but like that, nah, I just don't.
Yeah, I'll have to try it.
Have you ever had like foie gras? Was that goose liver, duck liver?
Yeah. So actually, and when we went to one of those Brazilian places, they had the little chicken hearts and chicken livers on those are good to me. They're fine.
But beef liver is especially
it's so strong.
It's like minerally.
Yeah.
Like very, very metallic tinge on your tongue.
It's like my body rejects it, dude. It makes me gag.
Yeah. And the texture's not good.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah, liver's a tough one. If that upsets you, then
I can't think of nothing. I'm trying to think if I know there's some text.
I'm just fascinated by the way your brain and food are.
There's not much.
Fascinated.
Yeah. I don't know. You know what I'm having for lunch?
Some plain shit.
I got some chicken thighs that I baked with no spices or seasoning.
But like why? It feels like you're almost just.
I like the flavor. So I like the fat.
So here's my question though. Like, I feel like salt literally makes it enhances those flavors.
I put salt on it.
Oh, well, you said you didn't put anything
I
on
don't
it.
count salt as a spice or seasoning.
I mean, it is, but
Salt is not a seasoning.
I mean, I would say it is. Is salt a seasoning?
Oh. I mean, yeah, this thing
Yeah, the most common seasonings are salt, pepper, acids.
says salt is both a seasoning and a condiment.
That's fine.
It is not a spice.
That
I guess that's fair. So yeah, I use salt normally.
Yeah.
Not
okay. At least salt is fine.
Yeah.
But
Then I'll have a microwave potato. And
no canned potatoes.
No canned
Those
potatoes.
are out.
And then I microwave it, cut it open while it's still really hot, and I take an egg yolk. And then I put the egg yolk, mash it into the potato, and it's like a sauce, dude. And then it kind of warms through with the potato, and it gets like.
As weird as that sounds, I don't hate it because I've done the same thing before with like rice.
Yeah. And then every now and then I do I actually prefer because to me, spices and seasonings overpower the flavor of the meat that I'm eating. Then I just taste all the spices and seasonings, which is fine sometimes. But I normally then prefer, sometimes I'll get on a kick though, where I like mustards and ketchups and barbecue sauces. I prefer those versus a ton of dry spices.
I mean, just put a little bit of spices on it. You gotta do it correctly, man. Some things go well with something heavier, like beef. You can season the crap out of.
See, beef. Now chicken, I can basically can be fine with spices because it's not as.
Chicken doesn't taste like anything.
But beef, I just like the flavor so much.
I love the flavor of beef too, but it can be enhanced with stuff. Now that said, I'm a salt and pepper steak guy, so
yeah, same here.
Yeah, but it depends on what you're cooking exactly. Are you cooking a brisket?
Yeah.
You can put some other stuff on there. It's not going to overpower it. It's just such a strong flavored meat.
Now more like stews and stuff, and I like crock pot.
I like a stew
because then it's like the flavors are softened. You know, there's not so harsh.
They've been maturing over time,
so I can appreciate that.
Ooh, a good stew. I like a stew. How do you feel about just regular soup with nothing in it? Nah, waste of time.
Yeah. Not a big soup.
Okay.
Soup never.
I feel the same way.
Yeah.
I feel like I need to get something out of the soup. It's got to be full. It's got to be a stew.
I like
full
miso.
Of meat and potatoes.
I like miso soup
because it makes you hungrier and ready for your meal. Yeah, I'll take miso for that reason.
All right. We've been rambling now.
That's fine. That's fine. Everyone found out our food preferences. You got a serial killer palate.
Yeah. There we go. So there's your simple, efficient meal prep.
And use it as a template. Use it as a principle of how to do this, right? That might not fit exactly your life, your schedule, but that is a roundabout way of how to do it, right? Just get your timing right like that. And a crock pot's an easy way to do that too. So don't balk at it.
All right. Well, thanks for listening.
All right. See you later. As always, thanks for listening, guys. If you want to learn more, check us out at coastalfitnessva.com or garydeagle.com. We'll see you next time.